Hey guys, it's Ebony, and I'm back with Candid Convos with Nurse E. And I am so excited to see you guys today. Today, we are specifically going to talk about arthritis. September is Pain Awareness Month, so I'm going to continue to talk about something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I hope that you enjoy these pain conversations for this month. So arthritis is a very common term that is used to describe inflammation and pain in joints. And so specifically where I'm going to talk about arthritis is in the spine. Now, arthritis can occur anywhere, you guys. It can occur in your shoulders, in your elbow, in your fingers, in your wrists, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet. Anywhere that you have a joint, arthritis can set in, okay? And so I want to speak about the most common type of arthritis, which is osteoarthritis. This type of arthritis is caused by wear and tear in the cartilage between the joints. And I have a bone model here to demonstrate for my visual learners. I'm a visual learner as well, so I have a bone model here, and this actually is a model of your spine. Right here is your intervertebral disc. Okay, this is fluid filled. This right here is your vertebrae. All of this protects the spinal cord, which is right here in the middle, okay? This back here is an extension of your vertebrae, and they are called spinal processes. With your spine, you have nerves that extend from the spine, so that's these areas right here, okay? We'll make sure that we get a picture of this and a nice close-up, okay? So when you have arthritis, let's say specifically in the spine, the intervertebral discs start to break down, and the bone, the vertebrae, starts to break down, and the nerves start to break down. The breakdown is called degeneration. Again, it's called degeneration. So we have wear and tear that is occurring in the spine, and it's breaking the intervertebral disc and the vertebrae down, okay? This leads to, whenever you have degeneration, it leads to pain, it leads to stiffness, and it leads to decreased mobility, all right? So what we need to do in order to manage arthritis is get you moving. It's very, very important for you to move. That helps to decrease inflammation in the joints. And so you may ask, well, how do I move? Most people just think, okay, well, I can just get up and walk around. Walking around, you guys, is perfect. Going on a walk every day is perfect. Your spine will love you, your hips will love you, your knees will love you, your ankles will love you, and your feet will love you. Your whole entire body will love you for just getting up, getting outside, and going on a walk. A lot of times people are like, well, it's cold outside, or it's hot outside. Well, let's talk about hot. You know, we just are coming out of summer here in Maryland, and you can go on a walk if it's too hot in the evenings. So maybe 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. And luckily we still have a lot of light at that time. The other thing is you can go early in the morning, and we have a lot of light in the morning. So 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I would say the latest 8 o'clock in the morning. Here in Maryland, it can get pretty warm by 8 o'clock. So walking will definitely help to decrease the symptoms of arthritis. Another thing that's really, really important in helping the body move is stretching the body. Now, I want you guys to let me know by a show of hands how many of you guys stretch to just start your day. So not even in preparation for going on a walk or going to exercise or doing a physical activity, do you just get up in the morning and stretch? Did you know that there are stretches that you can do in your bed before you even get out of the bed? Yep, there are stretches that you can do before you get out of the bed. There are stretches that you can do as soon as your feet hit the ground and you start moving about your day that you can do before you get your day started. So stretching is another way to help decrease inflammation in the joints, to help decrease pain, to loosen up and not have as much stiffness. Stretching is important. So walking, stretching is important. The other thing that's pretty important, and I mentioned this in the previous episode, is going to work with a chiropractor. So a chiropractor specializes in spine health, and they can adjust the spine so that it can start moving the way that it's supposed to move. Most people do not know that your spine is supposed to move like an accordion. So it's supposed to take all the absorption, the shock from walking and running and moving, and it's supposed to absorb that and allow your body to move in a fluid way because of the fact that it has a lot of lubrication and it's not stiff. It helps with mobility. So going to see a chiropractor can definitely help with managing arthritis, pain, stiffness, and decreased mobility. Another good way to help manage arthritis is through the foods that we eat. We need to eat more foods that decrease inflammation in the body, because if you have inflammation in the joints, then you likely have inflammation in other parts of the body as well. So if we feed the body what it needs to help decrease inflammation, then that can also help with management of pain, stiffness, and decrease mobility. You might ask, well, Nurse E, what kind of foods help to decrease inflammation? Well, I am so glad that you asked that. I'm going to just list off a couple. Eating more vegetables. Vegetables have anti-inflammatory properties in them that can help decrease inflammation in the body. Buying foods that are organic can help with decreasing inflammation in the body. Not eating any processed foods, so foods that come in packaging. So one thing that I express to my clients when I'm talking to them about food is shop the outside perimeter of the grocery store where everything is fresh. When you start getting down the aisles, you're choosing more foods that are processed. The foods are in an aisle. They can sit there for a very long time and not spoil. So if you get foods that have expiration date years from now, then we know that that's a type of processed food. Okay, so staying away from processed foods can also help with decreasing inflammation in the body. Drinking green tea, drinking white tea, those things can help with decreasing inflammation of the body. And speaking of tea, I have some chai tea today, and you guys, it is just absolutely amazing. So let me take a sip. Ooh, it is so good. I had to get the wiggles out. So, yes, so you want to stay away from processed foods. Spices are really, really good, and they help to decrease inflammation. So turmeric, ginger, coriander, cumin, oregano, all of those types of spices also decrease inflammation. So we have spoken about how walking can help decrease inflammation and increase lubrication in the body from movement. We've talked about stretching. We have also spoken about working with a chiropractor to help with decreasing inflammation in the body. And we have spoken about foods. Those things can help with decreasing inflammation in the body. It's just amazing what the body can do if we put it in an environment where it has the opportunity to heal, guys. And when we decrease inflammation in the body, that gives the body an optimal environment to heal. So I really hope that you take some time to take heed to things that you can do to decrease inflammation in the body. And if you guys have any questions, if you have any concerns, you can always leave a comment under the video and I can take some time out to answer those questions and or concerns. So before we close out today, I want to give you some tips on spinal wellness. So as I mentioned before, we have a bone model and this is what the spine looks like. Right here we have a textbook spine. Now, nobody has a textbook looking spine, you guys. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made, and this is just artificial, okay? But the representation is that it's normal, it has no degeneration, the intervertebral discs are at the proper height, the vertebrae are at the proper height, the spine is nice and healthy. That's what this means, okay? And we do start with this, okay? Now, as time progresses and we use our body to do everything. You know, people who have laborious jobs, you use your body a certain type of way. People who have administrative jobs, you use your body a certain type of way. If you are physically active, if you garden, if you mow the lawn, if you walk, you know, if you run, if you're a swimmer, that's all using the body. And so when we use the body, but we don't give the body what it needs to heal and perform optimally, the spine starts to break down. So we have degenerative disc. Some of you may be familiar with the term degenerative disc disease. That's when the discs become smaller, they're compressed because the spine is not moving the way that it is supposed to move. So that is phase 1 of degeneration. The next phase of degeneration is phase 2. So this is when we continue to have wear and tear on the body and we don't address the health of the spine. So we have even more degeneration of the intervertebral disc and the vertebrae. The vertebrae start to become compressed, and so the bones start to break down and develop bone spurs. Okay, so if you've had an x-ray done and you see where the disc space is getting smaller, that's phase 1 and phase 2 of degeneration. If you have an x-ray done and you have an MRI done and they talk to you about your results and they mention osteophytes or bone spurs, that's in phase 2 where the bone is breaking down. If you are seen because you have a numb sensation, a burning sensation, a tingling sensation, and your provider sends you for an MRI and they show that the nerve is compressed, a nerve is pinched, that's what's going on in phase 2 of degeneration. All right. Phase 3 happens when we don't address the health of the spine at all, and there's no longer an intervertebral disc anymore. It has become so compressed by the vertebrae that it has totally disappeared. At this stage usually is when the provider is referring you to a specialist and they are considering doing surgery for you. So what I want to promote, guys, is preventative health here. And when you have any type of pain, whether it's neck pain, mid-back pain, lower back pain, hip, shoulder, knee, ankle, foot pain, go and see your provider. Because at that point, you might just be in phase 1. And there are things that we can do to prevent you from progressing to phase 2 and phase 3. My biggest goal in life is to prevent everyone from having some type of procedure, some type of surgery that is not necessary. It only becomes necessary when we've let a problem go on for too long. But if we can address it in the beginning, you guys, as soon as it comes to our attention, we can handle this. The body can do awesome, wonderful, marvelous things if we give it an opportunity to do it, okay? And so if you appreciate what's being said, I want you guys to like, I want you guys to comment, I want you guys to share this information with anyone and everyone that you may know who is experiencing any type of pain, any type of arthritis, any type of inflammation, any type of stiffness, any type of decreased mobility, all right? So before we end, I want to go over some more specific tips, because I've already mentioned to you that walking is great, stretching is great, seeing your chiropractor is great, eating foods that decrease inflammation. Swimming is another great exercise that can be done to decrease inflammation throughout the body, and especially for the spine. But let me give you some spinal wellness tips for a healthy spine. I want you guys to keep this in mind. I want to start first with, I know I have a lot of people who work at a desk all day and they're looking at a computer screen. Sometimes they're not just looking at one computer screen, they're looking at two computer screens. So I want to give you some neck exercises that you can do to loosen up the neck and also alleviate any type of upper trap pain, mid-back pain that you may have. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises. When you have time, I want you to do each exercise for 3 minutes. And you can do this several times throughout today to help with keeping the cervical region, so the neck region, nice and lubricated, okay? So you're going to take your head and you're actually going to take your ear to your shoulder. So it's going to look like this. And you're just going to do this for 3 minutes. I'm not going to do it for 3 minutes now because we don't have that much time. But you get the gist of it. 3 minutes. And you can do this while you're sitting at your desk. Or if you take a 15-minute break, go ahead on and do the stretches. The other stretch that you're going to do is this one. So you're going to rotate the head from side to side. These exercises can be done every day, several times a day. Okay? And then the last one that I want to show you is you're going to take your chin to your chest. So down like this. And then look up to the ceiling. You will thank me later, okay? It's going to release a lot of tension and a lot of pressure in the cervical spine, the neck area, okay? If you've been looking at a screen all day and or looking down at a computer all day and or looking at your phone all day. So these exercises are good for anyone to do, adults, teenagers, college students. It'll definitely help with releasing some tension in the neck area. And if you guys also have the capability of getting an ergonomic desk, if you work at home or if you're in the office, it's a desk that moves with you. So one of the wellness tips for your spine is standing, and with an ergonomic desk, you will be able to adjust your desk to the point where you can stand up. The computer, the screen can be at eye level, and your spine is in a neutral position. Your spine loves to be in a neutral position. And at the job that I work at, I give out, scripts. I give out scripts for clients to get an ergonomic desk through their employers. So it's definitely a possibility to help with any type of neck pain, shoulder pain, low back pain, okay? So spine wellness tips are your stretches that I just showed you, and also seeing if you can obtain an ergonomic desk. The other thing that I mentioned is standing. Okay, if you're going to be standing for an extended period of time, you want to make sure that you have on some nice, good, supportive shoes. I have clients that come in and I ask them about how their feet are supported. Do they have nice arches? Most people are unaware of when you don't have proper arching in the feet and your feet are flat, they don't have that arch support that can cause ankle, knee, hip, lower back, and shoulder pain. Okay, and I'm not talking about going to get like Dr. Scholl's from Walmart or from Target. You really want to work with a professional where they can scan your feet and see the health of the arches, and then based on the scan, you can have specific orthotic inserts made to support your feet. So when you're standing, you want to make sure that you're in a neutral position. You want to make sure you have good shoes that support your feet. And if you need orthotics, get those made, okay? I also mentioned working at a desk. You want to get up at least every 30 minutes if possible to just move around, walk around for a few minutes. Make sure that your chair has a lot of good lower back support. You also want your feet flat on the floor at a 90-degree angle, okay? I also mentioned your computer at eye level. The other thing that you want to make sure of is that when I am on my podcast, your phone is off. My hubby is my tech guy, and he's just as busy as I am, and he gets alerts on his phone. So thank you, honey. I'll take a sip of tea for that. The other thing I wanted to mention with your spinal wellness tips are lifting. When you're lifting objects, you want to make sure that your back is straight, that your hips and your knees are bent, and that when you pick things up, you lift straight up through the legs and keep the object away from the body, okay? You don't want to pick something up and then twist the body, okay? That puts you at risk for injury. Another spinal wellness tip that I want to talk about is warming up before you do any type of physical activity. This isn't just if you're going to play basketball, if you're going to play tennis, if you're going walking, or if you're going to run. This is if you decide you want to go and mow the lawn. You want to warm the body up before you do any physical activities. When you don't warm the body up, you put yourself at risk for injury. So if you are going to mow the lawn, if you are going to do any type of gardening, any kind of light activities, you want to make sure that the body is nice and warm, that you stretch the body out really, really good so that you won't develop any type of injury. The next one I want to talk about for spinal wellness is talking on the phone. I don't really think this is as much of an issue anymore because we have AirPods or Beats, so we're not holding the phone like we used to. If you work at a desk, most of the time people have a headset, and so they're not bending their neck like this in an awkward position. But if that is not the case for you, then I highly suggest that you ask your employer to get you a headset, and or if you are your own personal employer, you're an entrepreneur, get yourself a headset and or use the Beats or AirPods so that your neck is in a neutral position while you are working if you have to communicate on the phone. And the last thing that I want to mention is getting rest, getting sleep. You guys, next to pain, talking about sleep is like the most important thing that I love to discuss. We have to rest the body. That gives the body the opportunity to heal and to perform optimally. So if we're not getting 7 to 8 hours, then we need to work on that. Now, if your body tells you that you need less sleep, I can't argue with you on that. But most people need a good 7 to 8 hours. When you are sleeping, you guys, ideally for spinal health, we want you laying flat on your back, okay? With a pillow that can support the neck, a pillow or a durable medical equipment device that can go in between the knees if you lay on your side, and pillows that support the back of the back if you're on your side, okay? Sleeping, you also want to make sure you have a really good mattress to support your spinal health as well, okay? So I am so glad that I just had the opportunity to talk with you guys about spinal wellness, about arthritis, about degeneration, wear and tear on the spine, or any joint for that matter. Again, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, you can always find me on Instagram at State of the Body, and or you can leave a comment at the bottom of this video. Now, I always want you guys to remember that you are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. There is a hope and a future that is attached to you. And so I want you guys to have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys later.